What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, back with more of Pokemon Wi-Fi content, this time bringing you guys the team builder for week number 6 of the BBR D-League season number 1, where this week we are taking on the Vegas Golden D-Nites coach by Davion. His link will be in the description down below. Be sure to check him out as always, and also be sure to check out all the other coaches taking part in the BBR D-League. So, if you guys missed week 5, we did pick up a win over King Sosa and his LA Infernapes, moving us to 2-3 on the season. So basically, we still have a shot of making the playoffs, but like I said, we do essentially have to win out our last 2 games, this one included, and the following one for week number 7. And this matchup is going to be essentially no different in my perspective from last week, considering I am facing Iron Valiant again, back-to-back weeks. But yeah, essentially, still have to deal with Iron Valiant, with which is Davion's Terra Captain being either Terra Fairy or Terra Steel, and then of course there are some slight changes between Sosa's team and this team. I'd still have to deal with a strong ghost type. Last week was Skeleturge, this week it's Goldango. I have to deal with double dark with Tinglu Hydreigon. And I still have to deal with a flying type in Talonflame, which can be a bit annoying. Yes, I do have a Garg, but early spoilers, I'm not actually bringing Garganacl in this matchup. Everything else he has just kind of puts too much pressure on it as far as I'm concerned, like mainly his top 3 specifically. And if you guys hear any background noise, I do apologize. I am that's just New York for you guys. But in any case, yeah, he does have a very formidable team that I do have to be very about. And on top of that, this is a very, like I said, this is a very foreign game, not only for myself, but for Davion as well, just because of the fact that we are both 2-3 heading into this game, and for the most part we both need to win to ensure that we have the best chance of clinching playoffs. So yeah, with that all out of the way, I'm just going to jump right into the team and explain what I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it. So first off, we have our Dragapult with the heavy duty boots, Dragon Dart, Shadow Ball, U-Turn, Will-O-Wisp. I think this is actually the first time I'm actually putting going a physical route in the first place on Dragon Ball. I think I've read mostly special the entire season so far. But yeah, with Dragon Darts, it just gives me a decent way of doing more damage and stuff like Tinglu, since Vessel of Ruin does lower Dragon Ball special attack, and I want to have a meaningful way of doing more damage to Tinglu if I can help it. Shadow Ball is still nice and consistent to be able to do damage to the Goldango. I do have Will-O-Wisp, but the thing is, I cannot burn Goldango, and I wanted a surefire way to guarantee do damage to Goldango if it comes in on my pulse. So that's why we have Shadow Ball, U-Turn for momentum, and Will-O-Wisp is obviously there to cripple his physical attackers. We are Naive Nature here with the 132 speed EVs, not to guarantee outspeed Talonflame. The 12 HP and the 132 in defense lets me guarantee basically hit the same thing from the last week. The last week's set, basically taking a unboosted Spirit Break from the Iron Valiant if it's not Terra Fairy, as well as being able to live an unboosted knockoff from the Iron Valiant as well. But Spirit Break does do more. The max roll it does to the Dragapult is 99%. So that is the Dragapult set. Then we have our nice and standard Expert Belt, Meowscarada. I think I've brought this both games 2 times in a row now, but yeah, the set has been pretty much straightforward for the majority of the season. I don't think I've really mixed and matched this set, because I feel like it's been so linear the entire season. But regardless, it's still a very good Pokemon in this matchup, being able to Flower Trick, get as much damage off as I can to stuff like the Tinglu. Knockoff, it's just nice to get rid of heavy duty boots from stuff like Talonflame if he decides to bring this hard in. Granted, I do have to worry about being Flame Body burned, but regardless, getting rid of Talonflame's boots or any other items is very, very helpful in this matchup. U-Turn for momentum, and Spikes is just there to get that residual chip damage, considering his way of removing hazards is between Fortress, which can be a bit touch and go, but I do have to be careful about Fortress trying to rapid spin on my Dragapult if he decides to bring it, and I also have the option of Salazzle and Fire Oricorio if I decide to go that route. But yeah, Meowscarada is very straightforward, max attack that as hard as possible, enough speed to guarantee outspeed Iron Valiant without the booster energy, or Scarf, and the rest is just thrown into defense to take those physical hits a little bit better from his team. Then we have my Expert Belt, Terra Fairy, Espathra, Lumina Crash, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, and Protect. I think this is essentially the exact same set I also brought again from last week. Just basically just there as a means to hit hard. This does a number to his entire team. The only Pokemon he has that's not basically hit neutrally. Basically it's the Fortress if it's like Spadef, Electros if it's Assault Vest, Dunsparce can be a bit annoying, Spadef, Eviolite if I'm not able to knock that thing off. But basically, Lumina Crash, Shadow Ball, and Dazzling Gleam hits everything on his team at the very least neutrally, and then Protect is just there to ensure I can scout for choice sets. I can also guarantee get the speed boost for my Espathra. I am modest natured to do as much damage as possible. I do not really care much for outspeeding Hydreigon, as the only way Hydreigon can necessarily beat Espathra is if it goes for Flash Cannon, predicting me to Terra. And even afterwards, I should be able to take at least one hit from Hydreigon, depending if it's not like Specs or whatnot. If it's Scarf, it's definitely going to be weaker. It won't kill me, and at the same time, though, I value getting the extra damage off on his team, so I am just running Modest and outspeeding a timid max speed Goldengo for this Espathra. So I'm not really concerned that much about Hydreigon. I do have some outs against that thing if push comes to shove. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the offensive part of my team. Now for the more defensive aspects, starting off with my Gastrodon, we are Sticky Hold with the heavy duty boots as well. Basically, as I'm not bringing removal this week, I felt like I needed to value the HP on my Pokemon. So Gastrodon is one of those defensive threats that, not defensive threats, one of my defensive options to ensure that I can take hits from his team as best as I possibly could. I went with Sticky Hold here basically because his water type is a Quillfish, and he doesn't really have much water coverage on his team outside of Quillfish. It's basically just Liquidation on Iron Valiant and Liquidation on Electros. And if he brings Electros, I feel like he would bring Giga Drain for that anyway, and Valiant can easily chip down, well, even get rid of it because it does get access to Energy Ball. So I don't really feel like he would bring water move in that case, and even in the sense of bringing Quillfish, I really feel like he would hesitate trying to click a water move in front of the Gastrodon to give me a special attack boost. Like, that doesn't really benefit him at all. So yeah, that is the reason for Sticky Hold, and it also helps in the case of not being tricked by Goldengo if he decides to do that. Earth Power, Ice Beam, pretty much as an entire team for decent damage. Ice Beam is necessary to ensure I am not set up fodder for Hydreigon. Recover to keep myself healthy, and then Stealth Rock to get some chip damage on his team. The 244 HP and the 84 in defense is enough to guarantee take 2 Jolly Max Attack Brave Birds from Talonflame, and the rest is thrown in special defense to be a better check to stuff like Goldengo and the Hydreigon. Then we have my Hariyama making its return to the team with the Rosalie Berry, Drain Punch, Knock Off, Heavy Slam, and Bulk Up. If it's one thing that Davion definitely loves, is facing off against Pokemon with Bulk Up, because he's just very attracted to those sorts of things. So yeah, why not bring it in this matchup too? But regardless, Hariyama is basically just here to be a nuisance. Basically, he does have Double Dark, and Hariyama weakening Tinglu and Hydreigon for the Espathra is just very, very nice. But yeah, Drain Punch, keep itself healthy. Knock Off, another way of getting rid of items. Heavy Slam is essentially here to ensure that I have a means of, at most, touching the... It's basically here for Iron Valiant if it's Terra Fairy. So yeah, it's Terra Fairy with Rosalie Berry, so I can ensure I can take either a Spirit Break or a Moonblast from Terra Fairy Iron Valiant. And if he Terra Fairies, I can knock it out with Heavy Slam, because 120 base power, and then of course Bulk Up to boost my attack and defense. So yeah, the EVs are basically just here to ensure I have the most bulk possible to take hits from stuff like Goldango, take hits from the Hydreigon, Tinglu. Like, I am very, very fat, and then the 12 speed is just basically there for speed creep, against like Electros, which is basically the only thing that I have to worry about speed tying. So yeah, that is the Hariyama set. Nothing much else to say about that. And then of course Guts is just there to ensure if he does bring Toxic Spikes, then I can get a Guts boost and do even more damage with my attacks. But even to ensure that Toxic Spikes won't be an issue, I am bringing my Salazzle anyway. And if you guys have noticed, between this set and the set from last week, literally nothing has changed. This is literally the exact same set that I brought against King Sosa. Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, Will-O-Wisp, and Taunt with the heavy duty boots. Hits the exact same benchmarks, the exact same defense EVs to take a hit from the Iron Valiant from full if it's not boosted, and max speed to outspeed the Iron Valiant. If he's Terra Fairy, I Sludge Bomb, knock it out. If he's Terra Steel, I Flamethrower, knock it out. And at least this time I have a way of hitting the Ghost type super effectively, so I don't have to worry about the doggone Skeleturge. But regardless, Salazzle is basically here to be a offensive Valiant check if it's not booster energy, and it also gives me a means of removing Toxic Spikes if he decides to bring them on Quillfish. So yeah, with that out of the way, that is the team. I'm going to try to keep these team builders a little bit shorter, especially considering we only have 2 more weeks to go. I hope you guys enjoyed the team builders regardless. I do put a lot of effort into putting these slides together throughout the season. Again, thank you guys so much for the support. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. The battle will be going up on Monday as always. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next time, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.